Along with head coach Tom Collen, I'm Alex Perlman. Thanks for joining us as we break down yet another Razorback women's basketball game. Coach, Auburn in town, 2 o'clock today. This is a team now in Arkansas that's coming off of those 2 tough road losses, both of them to top 10 teams, both of them at historically very difficult places to play. How do you get this team back on track?
Well, I think right now their mindset is pretty good. I think they come out of those games, and I think they knew that they were good enough, maybe if they make another shot or two, in order to actually beat those teams. And so it's good that they embrace that. I mean, I think that's an accurate assessment of where they're at right now. And they need to think like that, so that when we go on down the road and we play this next game with Auburn, we got to think positively about ourselves. And so right now that's their focus. They want to beat Auburn pretty bad. They're pretty loose. I haven't had to have any meetings to get anybody up. I think they just want to get back out there and play and win a basketball game.
Well, this team is so young, but can you take it as a positive that you went into Kentucky, went into Tennessee, and had chances to win? I mean, they've blown a lot of teams out in the SEC.
I don't think there's any question. If you had asked me before the season started that we could go into those 2 venues, those weren't 2 wins that we were counting on. They certainly were wins that we wanted to go try to win or, get a steal here or there. But I don't think there's any question that we proved that we can play with them. And so I think that's a pretty positive thing. So, with this team, they're young, and sometimes youth, they're pretty resilient. They don't know any better. They amaze me sometimes. I don't know. I want them to feel the loss. I want them to feel the pain because I want them to be hungry to come back. But at the same time, sometimes they're as loose as can be, and you're trying to determine whether they care or not. But I really think that they do. They're just young, and they kind of got to get through. It's part of the growing up experience, I think.
Well, talking about some of those young players that had tremendous non-conference seasons, in Mackenzie Adams and Kelsey Brooks, they were in double figures when we came to SEC play. The shooting, the scoring has dropped off a little bit now that we're in conference. How do you get them back to where they should be?
Yeah, it's dropped off a lot. Let's be honest with it, and I think it's our 3-point field goal percentage probably that's dropped the most. We're still getting fairly consistent efforts out of Jazz Bowen and Kiera Peak, and you really hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think Kelsey and Kenzie, one of those two have got to step up. I mean, in the preseason, they were both shooting the ball well. And, it's to a point now really where I've got to consider maybe going with Bria, in Pitts. I mean, she's done a good job in practice, and keep running her with the first team a little bit in practice to see if she can get jump started and maybe create a little bit of competition there. But one way or the other, one of those freshmen have got to step up and make a couple threes every game.
And now the whole team's attention turns to Auburn, a team that is also like Arkansas, 2-6 in the SEC. And they are manned by a couple of sisters, the Tanner sisters, Tyrese and Tracy. What makes them go? What does Auburn do well, and what will they come in here posing a threat against Arkansas with?
Well, they're very unique players. They're very different too. The senior, she's like a 6-foot, high motor, plays the 2, the 3, the 4, rebounds like crazy, scores like crazy, attacks the basket, gets you in foul trouble. And then the younger sister, she's just a low block player. I mean, she's 2-3 inches taller, big, strong, physical, just really hard to guard down there. But it's a great tandem. I mean, we recruited both of them. I think once we knew that we lost the older one, we probably weren't going to get the younger one. So
right.
They've really carried Auburn over the last few years.
Well, it should be a good matchup here with Arkansas taking on Auburn. 2 o'clock is the start time right here in Bud Walton Arena for the Hogs and the Tigers. So for Tom Collen, I'm Alex Perlman for Razor Vision.